Letting the coffee bed run completely dry isn't a mistake. It's a tool. It's no different as this experiment is right here. That's what I went through a couple of weeks ago. I was wondering, why aren't we doing this more often? Is it taboo to let the coffee bed run completely dry? You know exactly what I'm talking about here. We do it all the time, at least I do. And as soon as that bed looks like it's about to get dry, you pour your next cup, another pour of water. Sometimes you're just racing to the actual coffee bed to make sure that you don't really mess it up. But then I was thinking, let's just do an experiment. Even though it may seem very taboo of making sure that there's water always in the coffee bed, let's just do an experiment of trying it when it runs all the way down. I was surprised. I was shocked. You know, it was one of those things to where you were like, wow, why do we really follow these rules sometimes? Why do we do things in a way to where we're more so detriment to ourselves? And this is no difference here. So I did an experiment, as I always do. It'll be eventually on the channel, eventually. I used the Ethiopian white honey coffee. It was a very slow, exaggerated drawdown. Anyway, that's just kind of the way it is, the way it operated. But I used that coffee, not so much because of a slow drawdown, was because I just was trying an experiment. I was seeing if you can actually just brew the cup as we normally do, with right before the water will exit out of the pores. We will immediately put another pour of water on top of the coffee bed in a pour over. So I did it that way. I think I used the Melodrip one way. And then the other way is that I let the water completely go dry after my pours, as we do in the bloom anyway, right? And I sat there. I wasn't team keep water in a bed or keep or let it run dry. I wasn't that at all. I was more so just kind of seeing it for what it is. I just wanted to taste it for what it was. TDS was a factor. You know, it really was. But truthfully, the biggest thing of really why we do this, because TDS is just an indicator of something, right? A strength level, whatever. It's about flavor. It's about taste. It's about what we're actually tasting in a cup of coffee more than anything. We know that, right? I can go back and forth about this whole TDS game. That's probably a story for another day. But at the end of the day, I wanted to see what that coffee actually tasted like. So I drank the first one. It was smooth. It was clear. It was fine. It was something that I expected, right? But when it came time to drink the other coffee, the one that the waterbed was completely dry, it kind of shocked me. It was evident. It was there. I wonder if it's just that coffee. Maybe I need to try it a little bit more. But throughout the past couple of weeks, I have tried it, and it's more so the same situation. The coffee was bolder. It was heavier. The body was just like thick. I think I preferred that one in this case, in that situation. And I just sat there. And I was like, whoa, interesting. So that particular technique, that particular mistake made the coffee a little bit more full body than what it was before. Before, it reminded me more of like a delicate type of tea, type of taste and body and all that, which there's no problem with that. There's no problem with that whatsoever. I guess really what I'm saying here is that it was different. And then I started to think, it's like, wait, why did I shy away from that? Why did I listen to either myself or just doing something for a very long time, or others saying that you don't do this, you don't do that, and not really giving you a reason why? Why did I fall to that notion, to that thought, to that way of being, that whole thing that we always think that we need to follow and do? Those are some of the things that I was thinking about. And as I kept drinking this coffee, it was more apparent that I realized that this was a tool. This is something I can do from time to time, depending on the coffee, depending on how I want to agitate it, manipulate it to bring different things out of the coffee. This is another tool that I can use for myself as I go through this journey of coffee. And like I said, past couple of weeks, it's been pretty cool. It's been pretty cool just because if I particularly don't get to it in time, the coffee bed when I'm making my coffee, sometimes I just lean into it. Sometimes I purposely do it to the point to where I'm like, okay, this is where we're at right now. These are the things that we're doing right now. These are the different experiments that I can do and understand and explore with coffee, because now I understand the situation a little bit more. It's not a mystery. It's not something that I run away from. It's something that I actually look forward to, just because I know that I can manipulate, I can change, I can bring something different out of my coffee. Was the coffee more extracted? Yeah, it was. Was it that significant? A decent amount, but not something to like go crazy about. But again, it comes back to that flavor. It comes back to that taste. It comes back to what I care about coffee at that moment in time. It could be to the point, using this particular experiment, is that it may be the thing that really gets you going with this particular coffee. That boldness, that way of like getting that juiciness out of the coffee in a different manner. This is probably just one thing that you can do in order to like kind of manipulate and get the best out of the coffee as much as you can. So I sat there and thought and wondered, it's like, wow, what other things are we doing here to not get us or pushing us back and to understanding coffee even more so? What other taboo things are we doing, not understanding, when it comes to this whole thing of coffee making? Those are the things I think about now, because I'm sure there's so many other things that we don't do. And granted, there are things that we don't do for a particular reason. Like it doesn't make sense to do whatsoever. But I know that there's other things, and I need to figure out what those things are. I've figured out from time to time what they are, and I've shared them here on this atmosphere, or this arena, so to speak. I've done that. But this drawdown thing has got me thinking and wondering and pondering and wanting to explore even more so of all the things that I really want to do with coffee. I want to know it all. And I hope that you want to know it all too. And I guess really what I'm saying here is that I'm just one person in this whole arena of saying, do this, don't do that, stop that, that's dumb online. There's bigger channels. There's people who always talk about different things of give you tips and tricks and all that stuff. I'm no different, right? Because at the end of the day, we're just experiencing it for whatever we want to. And we're just so naive or dumb to just actually share it with other people. But the cool thing about all of this is that I'm just a person. You are a person. You're actually the person who's drinking your coffee when you drink it. I'm not there. Whoever that you talk to and deal with, it doesn't matter. You're there front and center with that coffee. I don't think you need me to allow you or to give you that push of like not listening to any one of us. If something doesn't feel right, question it. Even if it does feel right, question it. Try your own experiments. See what works. See what doesn't work for your palate. See if you can get to the same conclusion. Do things that are just off the wall that you've always was hesitant to try just because somebody said that it wasn't the right thing to do. Try it anyway. Because that's one of the biggest things that this has allowed me to understand more than anything. The other what ifs, the other things that I want to do with coffee, why I want to do them. Those are some of the things that I'm thinking about right now. And of course, continue on with this whole tool. Because now it's a tool. Now it's a way that I see and experience coffee. It's another way that I know that it's going to be something great when I actually try it, or not great, depending on the coffee, depending on the situation, depending on my pour technique, depending on the filter that I decide to use that day. That's what's going to change all of this. And now that something I was so hesitant about trusting and thinking that it was bad, now I look forward to it. I look forward to actually just experiencing it for what it is. And I hope that you get the chance and opportunity to do the same too. Because all we're doing here is just experimenting anyway. We're trying to match our palate, we're trying to push our palate in order to see what this beverage does for us. Yeah, it's there. Bold, it's heavy. French press type of way. Coming from a pour over. That's pretty cool. And as I sit here and drink this coffee and conclude with you right now, I think that's the biggest takeaway that I can give you with all of this is that we have to push past the things that we think that we're not supposed to do. And when we do that, we're going to learn something about ourselves. We jot it down. If we talk to many others online about this, or if we just sit there for a little bit just to enjoy the coffee, realizing that this is just another thing that we can use in order to let the coffee express itself to us. So What are other things that you go through when it comes to this whole coffee thing that hold you back or that you've thought about that you wouldn't dare do? What are they? Is the letting the coffee bed run dry one of them? Why is that? Hell, it doesn't really matter why. Try it out. Forget everything that everybody has said and just try it out anyway. Make your own determination. Talk to you later. Bye.